Hi, this is Bob Denny. Today we're going to be flying the TACAN Yankee Runway 29 approach at Naval Air Station North Island in the CH-47 Chinook. Here's a look at the plate overall, and here you can see the plate in detail. Feel free to stop the video anywhere to look at the plate so that you can be familiar with the approach we'll be flying today. As you can see, it's a rather challenging arc approach, and we'll be doing it down to minimums, but not the missed approach. While we taxi out for takeoff, allow me to explain the setup here. I've installed the TDS Garmin GTN750Xi plug-in, and the number 1 unit drives the HSI through the GPS channel. Also, the number 1 bearing pointer always points to the upcoming GPS fix. Here we can see skate as our upcoming GPS fix, and we see the bearing pointer pointing right towards skate. With the GTN in VLOC mode, tuned to Mission Bay, the number 2 bearing pointer points to Mission Bay because VOR is selected on the bottom row button. The same thing holds for the TACAN, here selected to the North Island TACAN beacon. The number 2 bearing pointer points to the TACAN beacon since the TACAN button is pushed on the HSI. By the way, this level of integration is made possible by a FlyWithLUA script that I wrote. For more information, see the description in this video. It's not like having true GPS steering. However, the GTN will provide lateral navigation through most of the approach, and you'll see that in this video. We're cleared onto the runway for an intersection departure now. All gauges green, no lights, off we go. We're making an intersection departure on runway 29, and we'll be climbing in VFR conditions direct to the skate intersection, where we have the procedure turn. The GTN's flashing now, telling us we're arriving at skate. Since this is just basic LNAV, the GPS cannot fly this procedure turn, so we have to uncouple the nav and fly this with the heading bug, or fly it manually. I'm just going to fly it with the heading bug. Below the GPS, you'll see a couple of rows of buttons. Next to command, the first spare button is connected by my script to turn nav coupling on and off. Okay, we're inbound, so I'll turn the nav coupling back on. If you look at that spare button now, you'll see it has the SEL light turned on. That means the nav coupling is active. Now we're approaching skate inbound. You'll notice that we're off to the right a little bit, and if you look in the upper left-hand corner of the GTN, we have a 9-knot crosswind. The nav tracking in the Chinook is a little bit loose, and so we get blown downwind a little bit. When we're tracking, we'll always track downwind by a little bit, and that's just the way the Chinook is at the moment. They may correct it. Watch the number 1 bearing pointer. We're passing to the right with the skate intersection on the left. The pointer is now, we're a beam skate. Boom, there's the leg switch. The GTN did the leg switch, and you can see the from to arrow go to from and then to quickly. This is coming from the GTN. So we're now on the next leg. We're 4.6 miles from the upcoming Obime waypoint, which is where we make our right-hand 90-degree turn and join the 9DME arc. The GTN will anticipate the turn, so it'll start the turn before it gets to Obime so that it comes out on the arc right now. And we're not there yet. See, we're still a half mile from Obime. 0.5, 0.4. Again, watch the number 1 bearing pointer. We're just about to pass a beam. Boom. There's the leg switch with the from to from. And we're continuing the turn around to intercept the 9DME. At this point, the range, the distance on the HSI, is not the distance from the North Island TACAN. It's the distance around the arc to the point at which we turn final. Okay, we're on the arc now. If you notice, the desired course on the upper right of the HSI is changing very slowly. It's the GTN that's causing that course pointer to update every second to keep the desired track correct for the point on the arc. So effectively it allows the ship to fly right around the arc with hands off. Here's a close-up showing this in action. Desired track or course now is 086. We're 1.3 miles from Orpu. We have to make that left turn to the final inside the waypoint. So you could again watch the bearing pointer, the number 1 bearing pointer, as we get closer and closer and closer and closer. Just a half mile now. Closer. A beam. And there's the leg switch. And note that the vertical guidance now on the right of the HSI is alive. We should have started down a little bit earlier, probably midway in the turn. So I'm a little bit high, but we'll take care of that in just a sec. The Chinook's AFCS basically provides an airspeed hold. So if you lower the thrust control, that simply changes the rate of descent without changing your airspeed. Very nice. When flying a precision approach, the trick is to stop the needle's movement away from center first. And once you've got that stabilized, then very slowly apply the correction needed to bring the needle back to center. That's what we'll do here. I've been managing the descent with the thrust control, but the AFCS now has the left-right pointer dead center. Our minimas are 520, and we're just about there. Minimums, and the airport's clearly in sight, landing assured.
500.
I'm going to drift on down and then get the ship slowed down and then figure out where I'm going to land. Before landing checks, this is the time to turn off the AFCS and start hand flying. Here comes the missed approach point, by the way. You'll see in the GTN. I'm not going to bother with that. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Here's our track on ForeFlight. You can see the GTN and the Chinook flew this approach very nicely.